It's time for the finals, baby.
I'm just
All right, hit on my shots on Sojourn. Yep, got that. Check. Stick on my pulse pumps on Tracer. Will do. Yep.
But I mean, some of these players, like PGE, I've been watching the games.
Yeah.
He's been very impressive.
PGE and Scissors, I think we've got to talk about these days. The DPS have really hit personal peaks. Young players with still more potential yet to show. Really exciting. I think Infected's flexibility on tank paying huge dividends for students of the game. He's a really strong solo tank for Overwatch 2. Great addition to the roster. And then the veterancy in the backline with Rakatak and Cal having so much experience, playing at the highest level, having great mentality. This is exactly what you need to be a team that wants to pull upsets, right? We know students of the game, they're not going to be like these heavy favorites. That's not what this roster is, but they're a roster that is trying to upset the best, and they really have the right pieces for that. Up-and-coming DPS, exciting young players with a lot of potential.
But on the other side of things, you got the Toronto Defiant, the reigning champions of North America after their win in Stage 1. And in the finals last stage, they just swept Timeless.
Yeah.
They just swept them. Completely dominant. So yeah, they might have had a bit of a hiccup here. They might have had a bit of a hiccup yesterday against M80. They might have lost. But they don't concern themselves with sheep like students of the game. They're focused on the real deal in the grand final. They're focused on M80. So going into this matchup, I don't think you're worried at all if you're Toronto Defiant. You got two fantastic players in someone who can play all the kinds of tanks in the game to always secure a tank matchup favored in their regard. And also you got Merit, of course, who, yeah, he might not have had his best game, but today is when it all matters, okay? So as long as Merit shows up today, you're all good. Toronto Defiant, I think they're comfortably going to coast in this matchup.
You know, I'm always the guy who says, oh, there's anything could happen in Overwatch. But this one, I mean, anything could happen, but I think it's going to be a very tough fight for students of the game.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be an uphill battle. They're not the favorite to win this. Toronto Defiant coming off of a loss, but they have to be considered to be still the best, if not one of the two best teams in the region. And yeah, let's see if they can once more find themselves in the grand finals, just like last stage. For all the action, we got Mr. X and Jack for you. How are we feeling about the series? I love how you presented him like he's like some teleshopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, Matt.
Bye.
Yeah, yesterday, you know, when Zoe announced Matt and Mr. X, I knew Mitch wasn't coming back. I knew that was it.
Broke his mantle.
I've always thought we put like a giant like box here from Oblivion or Fallout and then select NPC dialogue to talk to Matt in. So if someone could Photoshop that real quick, just the NPC box, I think that would be perfect. Yeah, you just select a few options and it gives out like generic responses. It's pretty good. I have to get some digs.
What is it? What kind of bird is that on your shirt?
It's an owl. It's with a hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a
was that the comeback? Like, was that
Pretty cool.
That's really great,
I was
man.
just
That's
asking.
really great.
I was just asking. I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay, he's trying to butt me out now.
Students of the game, they didn't give a great answer in terms of confidence yesterday. Scissors' interview, like after the match, was like, well, we'll see what happens, you know, like, at Dallas and against some of these top teams. I feel like if you're gonna beat Toronto, like it's like coming off of a loss, like they've already qualified, like maybe they feel like they don't have a ton to play for here, right? But I still think Toronto Defiant's definitely the heavy favorite. I think this probably gives you a better idea of where students of the game is. I believe we actually already saw this match in like the winners semis, you know, right before the winner final, and actually it was a blowout in favor of the Defiant. So we'll see maybe if students of the game seen some things since then that has closed the gap.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 3-0. Like, students of the game didn't take a point on Hollywood, Busan. Like, I don't think they even got a checkpoint on Esperanca. Like, yeah, it's a very top-heavy game right now in terms of Toronto Defiant's like sheer firepower in this series. But making it to LAN is great. You know, maybe they do rest on their laurels a little bit, Matt, but there's still a little bit of prize money here to fight for, plus some revenge an M80, who are in the finals, of course. This is the lowest finals here, the main event in North America.
Yeah, I think you do want to like make it back to obviously the final here if you're the Defiant, right? You don't want to give M80 like even more confidence, right, going into Dallas, because they're definitely a team that has a roster that can contend with winning Dallas, right? Which is, you know, Defiant obviously would love to win this event, but really Dallas is that ultimate goal. Is it'll be the Defiant hovering a dive competition here with the Winston in play. As students of the game going to play the Oasis.
Yeah, a little dive. Saw this a little bit earlier. Play the Winston, hold the high ground, and just try and jostle around the central pavilion. Just with a Toronto Defiant, just a team with so many looks too. I mean, effective, one of his best heroes, I would say, is probably the Winston. So if they do want to try and take that dive mirror, they can. Mary getting harassed by Scissors on the sideline. There's never been a superstar. Him and PGE have just been so good as a duo. Students of the game surprising a lot of people coming in. I had him quite high on my power rankings list, and I'm glad I did.
Well, once Timeless was out, you kind of figured, right? Students of the game is, you know, them and LG, right? Those are like the next teams up in terms of who could qualify as PG finds RuPaul. And you mentioned like Toronto, they can play so many different comps, right? I think I would beg the question, like, do you need to in this meta, right? Like the Oasis was so strong, and then combo that with either you know, the Cassidy with the Baptiste, the Sojourn with the Kariko, and then, you know, Tracer Lucio in the mix, and like you can pretty much go against everything. I think you know, sometimes like the ability to play so many different comps, right, kind of strays you away from, you know, what may be the strongest at the moment.
Yeah, especially Toronto. You're thinking too, just the power level of the team. Feels like you can play pretty much anything regardless. Excited to see if we end up seeing some wackiness from the Toronto Defiant. DPS live. We've seen a little bit of Torb earlier on in EU, and of course Pelican played it yesterday, which is very fun. Merit having to get out of there. Oh, nice response there from students of the game. Stopping the flame from Merit. Just pop down the window, insta-kill him. They do no training for Scissors, which is kind of annoying, but Infected is immortal on the point, bro. Like there's no removing him.
No, and like if they try and dive in with someone, right, like the Reese is really good at the counter dive, right, the spear spin, getting the Winston out of the bubble, then being able to kind of spear him against the wall, make it difficult. This is going to be a Kitsune rush here for RuPaul. They're trying to follow this up. Primal Rage
nice
as well. It's going to be a sound barrier for Students of the Game, as Students of the Game has a nice advantage here.
Yeah,
for
a lot of investment there from Toronto Defiant, tracking down Cal, booping him out with the Primal Rage, out of that Immortality field, and then Ratak followed up with a sound barrier. So Cal stayed alive through that Primal Rage. Students of the game with 3 ults going into the next fight. I mean, this is final fight now, and RuPaul used the rush.
The positive, though, would be is that Students of the Game, you know, ended up using their sound barrier, and Toronto's able to hold on to it, right? That would kind of be the positive outlook here for the Defiant, that in potentially this last fight, you do have sound barrier to work with, but Students of the Game has played really well thus far on this Oasis on the point.
Here we go, is OC approaching. Yeah, that's going to be the big disadvantage. But actually just getting onto the back line is sometimes a little bit easier said than done with their comp, like you were picking up, Matt. Sound barrier still available. There's the stick onto PGE. A lot of damage thrown in, but the lamp saves him. High Noon not finding too much. It's actually Merit that starts off the fight with a kill. Vega goes down with the sound barrier for Toronto Defiant. Students of the game, 99%. Still got Infected on the point as well. Toronto Defiant need to be able to secure this kill, but so many cooldowns. He's just alive still, finally slain by someone, and RuPaul.
I mean, if there's a tank in the mix that can just live for that long, that has like, you know, some mobility with the spin and whatnot, like it feels like you kind of have to pick it all the time. But Toronto, they do get the flip. They actually hold on to the sound barrier throughout all of that. So they hold on to it again for this next fight. So another thing that's pretty positive there for the Defiant, as Students of the Game, they don't really have anything to work with here. Maybe the Amp Matrix, right? Amp Matrix, you kind of move on to the point, spread some players out, you can find a pick potentially.
Just going to take control of this left-hand side. Got a window too that could be quite deadly, especially from that angle as well, because there's less to kind of hide behind, as there's a section cut out of the main pavilion. I think Toronto Defiant, ideally they don't get picked and maybe just play for this rush. They've got it in 5% or so. Infected also burning cooldowns. That spear spin's already been used. Here comes the window on the side. Students of the game making a rotation, but Toronto Defiant, they suss it out and end up counter-rotating to the other side of the map. Sound barrier comes in. Merit ends up falling first, though, as a 4v5 commences, and Cal slain. No lamp, there's no sound barrier of their own to kind of follow that one up with. So Cal, easy pickings for Toronto Defiant.
Yeah, and this next fight's probably the one you're looking at for Students of the Game to try and win it here, right? You know, they get this 99 lead, but, you know, the point obviously is very difficult to take here on Oasis, where you have a sound barrier to work with, right? Look for someone, though, with that Primal Rage to try and dislodge players. As, you know, you're gonna get up to, you know, a potential 99 here for the Defiant here. So this is gonna be probably the final fight of the round.
Scissors spotting out Vega in a precarious position. What a pulse bomb! No Suzu from RuPaul to save Merit. That's one of your big carries down to. And now Scissors turns his attention to Merit. To RuPaul even. A Suzu to save his life. But here comes someone with the Primal Rage, already crunching PG. Cal in the sights once again. The lamp's already gone. Rack attacks 1 HP. Someone jumping straight back to the point to trigger OT. Oh my god, someone just does it all. And adds a cherry on top for you as well. There is 99%. I think that's about over from Students of the Game. A complete turnaround from Toronto.
I mean, very good turnaround from the Defiant. I would also say for Students of the Game, that's probably the best we've seen them play the Defiant in all the matches that we've seen thus far. So we'll see if that kind of carries over for the rest of the series. But at least early on, some positive signs there for Students of the Game. And I think, look, that point on Oasis here, I mean, it's just very difficult to take back, right? We see teams stall it out very often, right? Where Students of the Game, they win basically the first fight, they take the point, and win another fight after that. They're at 99. Especially when the other team has the Winston, you have the Orisa, and they don't exactly want to push in. Everybody just kind of standing around. So we'll see as we move into the next round. Is Toronto potentially going to be running this Orisa setup? So Orisa with a Genji here for the Defiant, and you're actually going to see Scissors pick up the Genji as well, so to contest some more of this high ground.
It deflects a lot of that damage too. The initial spear the Orisa throws out, just deflects it right back. Not sure how Genji's able to do that, but he can. Very strong sword. Nice high ground control so far from Toronto. See if Students of the Game, how they decide to play this. They could send Infected under. If they really want to, just play under high ground away from the oncoming damage of Merit. Looks like Students of the Game almost capping first. It's actually Toronto Defiant having to send someone down to the low ground as they burn Cal's Immortality field. And now Merit looking up to height once more. Oh, PG was so low. And Sugar Free just getting a couple of resets there, taking out both DPS. And now attention very much turned towards the Orisa. And there we go. Toronto claim the point first.
Yeah, it feels like once that Immortality field comes out quite early from Cal, that's kind of the Defiant sign to go, right? And after that, you start to see Sugar Free get in the mix, and you'll start to get those dash resets, especially in that hallway. It becomes pretty devastating to deal with there as the Genji just starts to chain kills together, where Students of the Game, they had Scissors on the point, right? Still trying to vie for that high ground early on, but once they take some damage, use that Immortality field, their push is over.
How are they going to reclaim control? I mean, Sugar Free's 5% towards the Blade. Or away from. Scissors at 30. Blade instantly pulled. Sound Barrier has to come out. Sugar Free did dash into the back line there, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can get out, you can be so slippery on the Genji. And a nice body block from RuPaul to stop Scissors getting away.
Oh, and that's an amp matrix here from Students of the Game as well. So not only did they invest the sound barrier, they invest the amp matrix there towards the end of the fight, maybe trying to catch some of these players that were coming on in, chasing after the sound barrier wears off. So now you don't have that Big Baptiste ultimate as well, as now you're putting a lot of pressure on Scissors to get something with this Blade. But there's going to be a sound barrier to counter this on the other side of things. So Toronto just playing the ultimate game perfectly.
The Blade can be quite easily counteract, obviously, with that sound barrier, or you can counteract it with the Terror Surge. Just pull Scissors in as soon as you use the dash. High Noon, speared, PGE. Not getting anything with that audible. It was like half a second worth of High Noon. That one a little bit better. Tag some damage on Infected as overtime approaches. Cal is in trouble. Both Orisas spin in to win, but Cal's already dead. Focus fire from Toronto Defiant, just so clean. Scissors pops the Blade. There's the deflect. Tries dash past him. Oh, gives him the alley-up. Gets behind him, slashes him in two, but Students of the Game need to touch. And is Vega looking for boops, and that'll be not even looking for boops, just taunting them. Toronto Defiant 2-0 on the first map.
So the round one was pretty close. Round two, not really that close. It's really Toronto Defiant in control of that all throughout. As they get that Immortality field out at the end, they put some damage down onto Infected, so Cal has to use it. And then they actually use the sound barrier to push on into them. I think it kind of catches Students of the Game off guard a little bit. That's why, the Blade comes in when they have basically, just 3 players up, 2 players alive, pretty much at that point. And that Blade's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you called it, right? Like, Scissors needs to get some of that Blade. like force something, but Toronto just played in the long game. It's like, okay, we speared the enemy high noon. Okay, now we high noon ourselves. We drop Merit to low ground, and then we push around the corner, and then we Terror Surge. Like, there's so many ults that are just pushing students the game back, just permanently. And then Cows in the corner, like you said, use the lamp, and then that was pretty much it. This is a nice first kill, though. Boom, boom, double heady.
Yeah, this first round looked awesome from students of the game, right? And I think a part of it, I know we talked a little bit about it, is like, I think obviously, teams want to run some dive in certain situations, right? I really think you're probably at a disadvantage here, especially with this Orisa versus the Winston with how the point is, right? So I think that probably has, something to play into, with how close round one is, but Toronto's still able to pull it out.
Paraiso is the next map. Seen a little bit of this every now and then. It's good to see Paraiso sometimes. Sometimes quite frustrating to play. Capping third can be very, very tough, and even assaulting first as well, especially if your defense is rather strong. Of course, we saw Rack the other day roofing out the Life Weaver. I love that series, actually. That was such a fun one to watch.
Life Weaver Ana is something that we have seen from students of the game.
I really like it.
On Paraiso. I mean, look, I think Life Weaver's fun. Life Weaver's kind of cool. So see Life Weaver in the game. What does that face?
She's just like, yeah, I think Life Weaver's pretty cool, pretty fun.
Yeah, Life Weaver's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get.
There's nothing wrong with Life Weaver. What's wrong with Life Weaver?
With Life Weaver. It's just the way you said it, bro. Substitutions coming in.
Well.
Let's have a look. Oh, no substitutions. Sorry, Matt was yapping in my ear, bro. I couldn't hear the producer. Paraiso.
It's always fun to log on, play some Weaver, get some Weaver in.
I don't think I've ever seen you play Weaver, bro.
It's a vintage pick of mine.
A vintage pick. How long's Life Weaver been out?
Classic.
Not long. Not sure that's a vintage just yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've mastered it though.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mastered that one, huh? I'll ask Rack about that.
Yeah, I'm a master Weaver head.
We'll have a little listening to students of the game as they set up for their attack. Whatever.
I'd only do if they have like a ground tank. Oh, dude, no, I got the mythic.
Like, you know that they're just listening to us right now? You're just gonna hear, to infinity and beyond! You get one on Widowmaker!
Shut up, Buzz.
Yeah.
Shut up, Buzz. Is that the comp? Shut up, Buzz. Shout out, Buzz, bro.
Mike.
Dude, I got that mythic skin on. Yo, turn me a PG. Oh.
I missed.
Monkey holding close right
Echo,
here.
Echo. Alright, Tracer forces point. You guys walk right side, and I jump there high. Background's playing.
Always some of the most entertaining comms we have in OWCS, to be very honest with you.
If we didn't play the game and we awarded winners and losers off of vibes,
Shoots the game up
they
there.
would be undefeated. They'd be world champions.
Yeah, actually, so true. Fortunately for Toronto Defiant, they're playing the RuPaul on defense. They lose Sugar Free super early, which is kind of annoying. Infected blocking off a lot of those COs, placing that bubble in the choke point. They're going to get a recontest.
The Echo's so difficult to play, right, against the Cassidy and the Tracer, right? Two great heroes against it as Vega trying to move out onto the point on the brink. Gets pushed back a little bit as they're going to send someone on to contest.
Merit. It's one dead Tracer. Someone taking a lot of headshots from PG as well. That was a nice boop from Rack Attack, booping someone back down to Earth. And they should be able to punish these kills as well, although Infected was naded. Didn't matter, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to get RuPaul. No, he's going to be able to make it out with his life. Probably, that nade ends up saving him. But maybe you can kind of control some of this high ground space here. For just a brief period of time as Toronto, they will continue on with the same comp. Students of the game looks really good early up.
Yeah, super clean. So unfortunately, they couldn't all take height ASAP. It's really where you want to be. I mean, this phase is just so punishing. Every bit of high ground looking directly at you. It's real rough.
Well, I guess a positive there would be is that there's no hit scan just barreling down on you from the high ground, right? That seems to be the most punishing when it's an Ash, a 76, a Cassidy up there, just freely just draining bullets down onto your team. They don't really have that. They're still trying to play a little bit of a dive here, so could be a little bit beneficial, make it a little bit easier. Someone gets hit with a bio, has to back up.
Nade from Cal. Nana boost on to Infected. Got the Primal Rage as well. Going to set up for this kill, waiting for that whip shot. There it is. Now he can go back in. Oh, the sleep though. RuPaul saw that one coming from a mile away. Cal still takes down Sugar Free, who was duplicated as well. There's the rally coming through from Vega. Infected turning his attention towards the Ana, or at least trying to. Nice little whip shot and the peel coming through right now from Toronto Defiant. Just insane. However, Students of the Game moving the bot, or moving the payload, I should say. That overhealth building up from their rally. Nice little nade coming through straight on to Cal. Good stuff from RuPaul. Superstar support player, and his Ana is just, oh, it's Michelin star level quality.
Yes, the supports of the Defiant moving around with someone. Able to keep him topped up and alive, allows players to come off the spawn and for them to get a hold. But Students of the Game almost gets that checkpoint there. Now it'll be pretty difficult, though, I think, for Students of the Game this next push, right? Nano boost available to put onto either someone or Sugar Free. And then someone also with that Primal Rage, so potentially going to get aggressive as they push in.
Yeah, the Primal is pretty scary. Nano Primal. That's a good one. That's a classic, actually. If your Winston is good enough, it turns into the strongest blade known to man. All right. There's an easy nade spot there. I think they were kind of expecting it. Not expecting this damage coming out from Sugar Free, though. Oh, my goodness. The sticky bombs, they're like, how much damage with Nano? It's a stupid amount if you're connecting most of them. There we go. Nice engagement there from Toronto.
The sticky bombs focusing beam when the Nano boost, right? You know, a little bit of damage reduction there with that. Just makes Echo just... it's like a nuclear missile just coming at you, right? It's so difficult to deal with, especially because you can't even really focus the Echo. They're like flying inside of like the Winston bubble you saw there when someone jumped in, dropped it down. So almost impossible to deal with there. Is poor Rack Attack on the brig just looking up at the sky, just waiting to die. So now Students of the Game, 2 minutes, that burns about a minute off the clock there. So Toronto starting to mount a pretty good hold.
Where's the sleep? Oh, sleep doesn't connect. Scissors was below them too, so RuPaul just sails through the air and then crumples back down to the floor. Scissors pretty low, has to back off. Here comes the Primal from someone though. Did end up getting antied. Oh, the hinted nade on Merit. Didn't end up resulting in a kill though, as that pulse bomb was a little farther forward than I think the enemy team had anticipated. Duplication from Sugar Free onto the Ana. Oh, there's a bubble in the way. That's a little bit of a rip. However, straight in the back lines. Oh, Cal's already down. Sugar Free. Free Nano on the horizon, perhaps? No, ends up getting taken down, but damage is done.
Yeah, I mean, that is just pretty BM. The sticky bombs there on the Scissors towards the end. Not able to get a Nano, but that Bionic Grenade and the kill on Cal is enough to win Toronto that fight. So now Toronto comes into this next one, just a Nano boost, probably again. The brig, I mean, it feels like you kind of need it to kind of like help the Ana live, but like getting value out of rally, right? It feels like you can just kind of circumvent that. Like you're gonna have enough time where you can maybe just contest the payload. It's gonna be difficult to get really big value out of it.
This really does feel like where the meta is kind of trending is the Winston. Always has done. It's always really just been Winston, really. Every single meta just revolves around this eventually. If Reverser ever gets nerfs, I think we're just going to see Perma Winston meta again. I've got a good feeling.
It feels like we're going back and forth between the two at the moment.
Much. Nano boost on someone, just holding that door firmly closed. Students of the Game just trying to get through there. That rally being quite annoying for someone to deal with, but a lot of that effectiveness has kind of disappeared. Luckily, though, they end up getting kill onto Merit, and Students of the Game still have a Nano boost if they want to use it. They can deploy that pretty quickly, especially if someone ends up getting into the backline. And speaking of which, there's the Primal Rage. Isolating the Cassidy is going to be good. However, someone decides better of it, ends up going to the Mega Health Pack, having to rejoin the rest of the team with 15 seconds to go. That payload swiftly moving away from them. Infectors also has their own Primal Rage as they jump in. Someone is back in the mix. Sugar Free with the dupe, but someone in Merit already dead. PG holding on to this high noon. The shield from Vega down, and with Cal getting naded once again by the duplication of Sugar Free, who just takes care of the backline, Matt. Is that 3 kills? Not quite. Infected punches him to death, and Students of the Game, by the skin of their teeth, managed to get that payload on second point.
Well, yeah, with someone's Primal Rage on board with him, he probably actually really wanted that kill on the PGE, but the card's actually just moving on in at the moment as a little bit of a emote celebration. The spawn here from Students of the Game probably wanted that kill onto PGE, but the payload was moving on through, right? Because Infected was in the back line of the Toronto Defiant with his own Primal Rage, pushing them further back, brings everybody back towards that cart. And that rally actually from Rack Attack was quite big, right? We were talking before about like maybe getting value out of it. Really stopped someone from like pushing in towards that back line. Kept everybody topped up in that small area.
Well, nice nade from RuPaul. Any crunchers? There we go. All right. They crunched PG. You see where those darts are coming from as well. Of course, when the Ana is scoped in, just leave like tracer rounds. So you can see exactly where the Ana's kind of hiding out. If they're trying to be sneaky, they can't be if they're scoped. Students the game with only a pulse bomb. They're going to have to wait for these support ultimates to come up, but Toronto Defiant more than happy to wait it out themselves. I mean, duplication for Sugar Free again could be huge. 2 Anas is better than 1.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do with Infected just going up to the high ground, taking some damage, as that's going to be Merit falling again. A few fights in a row. It's been Merit falling early.
And a boost. Later one this time around. Sugar Free duplication into the Cassidy. Oh, Sugar Free's in their spawn. I mean, why not? PG did end up punishing Sugar Free at the very end, taking care of that dupe and the Echo itself. Now with Toronto Defiant, with a Primal Rage and a rally going on, I mean, they've got to help Merit at some point, because this payload swiftly moving away from them. There's the Primal Rage that they foresaw. 2 kills for someone with a Primal. Now with 2 points on board, Infected's going to have to perform a miracle here to try and get this point over the line. His health bar just being burnt away. Cal with the Suzu comes in clutch, but had to TP onto the point to try and keep the OT push going. And that is where the payload will make its end here for Students of the Game.
It's a pretty good push, though, for Students of the Game, right? You get the first 2 checkpoints, you get almost around that final corner there towards the end. So Students of the Game get like 2 checkpoints, almost the entire distance of the map there. And I thought the DPS in Students of the Game really kind of stepped up, right? I know a few times we saw, whether it be Scissors or PG, was able to get a kill early on onto Sugar Free or Merit. I know open things up a little bit for them, so that's a good sign for Students of the Game.
Toronto Defiant get their chance to attack. Will we see Students of the Game playing a little Weaver? I mean, they played it to very good success the other day. Like, hey, the Weaver on the staircase, like, with the tree, goes kind of hard, but...
They kind of like use the pedal to like lift up the Ana and put the Ana into like really odd spots, whether it be on the side or just positions that Ana really should never really be in. So we'll see. I think with how good Toronto's dive is, it would be pretty difficult to do. That's kind of my opinion. I think maybe you can make it work against some other teams. Maybe also Toronto has seen them run it, right? So you're kind of planning for it. That could be a potential thing here. Why you're not going to run it?
Yeah, I think, like you said, Toronto Defiant's dive is just too good for that kind of pick right now. A lot of the time too, it was Rakatak using that grip to pull people back and pull people out of danger, especially the Ana, who wants to take an off angle. Cal, they ended up a lot of the time being saved by that grip, like 1 HP.
Yeah, Lifeweaver's only really good at doing one thing at a time, right? He either heal or he damage.
That's facts.
And when your team is getting dove and you need to choose between the two, it can be pretty difficult to make that work. Where the Brig is a much safer option to protect the Ana.
Damn, he's spitting with that one. Put that one in a mug. All right, Sugar Free. His duplications have been sublime as well. Just permanently onto the Ana. Uh-oh, Infected! 1 HP, Sticky Bombs trailing him, and there you go. Sugar Free with a couple of try shots to follow that one up. No way was Infected getting away with that one. Even with that shorter sleeping time on tanks, so quick to set up the insta-kill, and that should be the first point.
And someone just jumps into the back line, and he doesn't even really look like he has any intent to kill anybody. Just kind of stands there in the doorway. Just puts his bubble down, stands there in the doorway, and just blocks that line of sight and makes it really difficult for anybody to get out.
Mad respect. Throws the pulse on someone, hits the teabag on the MVP. Okay.
Like, he knows what's important. Sometimes it's about winning the game. Sometimes it's about getting sick clips.
So true. Landed the pulse, insta-died to the Winston. All good. Still got the Twitter clip there of him pulsing someone. One of the greatest tank players to ever touch the game. MVP of the Overwatch League last year. Duplication from Sugar Free. Really deadly combated with these dives.
So, it's so dangerous, though, playing this Echo, like, by those rooftops with the Tracer specifically there, right? Gonna wrap around and maybe take another angle.
The juggling of like doing healing and damage is Ana. You'd love to see it. It's good to see Ana back in the mix. This Primal Rage from someone. Probably going to be swiftly followed up with a Nano, I'd imagine. Nano deployed on the other side of things, though, with Infected. glowing bright red. Duplication for Sugar Free onto the Cassidy this time. Thought the high ground was good enough for a kill. The ends were getting taken out by Cal, like 3 people just staring at him as someone was trying to peel for the backline.
Students of the game, they need to control this high ground. 4 minutes and counting on the clock for the Defiant. That's an eternity. You kind of have to get probably, 3-4 holds here. If you're students of the game, put yourself in a better spot to be able to win this. Is this going to be a nano to the high ground? Someone, thank God he's in his bubble right for him. I mean, that would have been pretty bad if he was outside of it. Would have most certainly been a kill from PG.
Yeah, what a sleep from Cal too, stopping the Nano Winston getting on the back line. Rally coming through from Toronto Defiant. There it goes down to Scissors again. My God. It's really standing up to the very best.
The DPS have done a really nice job, and we know Merit's obviously, an incredible player, right? But it seems like at least on the Tracer, they've been able to find him a little bit early, as opposed to, when historically playing some hit scan.
All right, they're going to go for a re-engage again. Someone, Primal closing in. Scissors hunting for Merit, who has Pulse Bomb. Merit knows his game, though. Hits the recall, has to back off to the rest of the team, as Scissors also gets a pack to heal him back up to 100% HP. Payload's being slowly moved by someone. You can't let him get away with that, surely. That space is too free for someone to take.
The fact that he gets away is crazy. I mean, he gets hit with an anti. It's just a little bit late.
What a shot from PG!
Dude, they've been sick even in the first round, right? I know on Oasis in the first map, the really sick plays from PG and Scissors. And they've it's not been it was completely one side in the DPS battle. I think some people may have expected. We do get a pause here, so we'll figure out what's going on there. As Toronto setting themselves up pretty good in this next fight, right? They're gonna have 4 ultimates to work with. Still a ton of time on the clock.
Yeah, a lot of time to go. A lot of ultimates coming up as well.
Maybe somebody's monitor fell over like the other day.
The most
we
insane tech issue of all time. Yeah, my monitor fell off the desk. How is it? How? How's that possible?
I'm just looking at my desk, and my monitors have a reasonable amount of space that even if I just full on punched it,
you should do it. Test it right now.
Probably not
test
falling. No.
Well, how do you know if you don't test it, Matt?
Well, I agreed to potentially pay for jerseys for students of the game the other day, which they tweeted me. They said we will talk. So I do not have the funds for monitors as well.
That is a lie, Matt. That is a lie. Oh, who wore it better? Me with the bird hat, or just the bird? It's me, bro. Look at that hat. Look at that bird with the hat.
Or they should have done can you spot the difference between these two pictures? They look eerily similar.
Dude, I got beady eyes in that one, actually. That's actually terrifying. Why did they choose the worst picture of me of all time? What? That's not even
Your
fair.
neck kind of has a little green tint, kind of like that pigeon as well. You really look at it.
Yeah, well, I was wearing a t-shirt under that before I got too hot and I took it off. It was way too warm.
Oh.
This is wool, so it's white. It keeps in the heat, bro.
You're wearing a wool sweater in Los Angeles in almost.
There's AC in here. There's AC. I'm all right. I'm chilling, but I am boiling. Yeah, it's after that last cast I just did is a little ridiculous. A little ridiculous. All right, back in the game. Stick from Scissors and Vega dead. That looks like it was a nano onto Vega too.
Yeah, that was a nano on the Vega.
RuPaul's trying to save the brig, unable to do so. Very unfortunate timing. And Merit goes down as well. Wow, Toronto.
So we were talking before, 4 minutes on the clock. Right now, you're down to below 2 minutes. So this has been a really good hold here from students of the game. I know Scissors has had a tremendous stage 2. Same with PG. They've really turned it up here. Map number 2 is. I also would say, Charles, when you're looking at these two teams, right? Potentially you would think Toronto Defiant, playing a dive would be a comp that they could take advantage potentially as students of the game.
No footsteps on Echo, by the way. Hello, Cal. Nano boost deployed. Luckily got onto PG, but now he's gonna have to contend with his primal rage. Should be a bit easier now as Rack Attack lands the whip shot. Scissors also falls as the high noon from PG as he descends to low ground. Might descend even further, to be honest with you now. He's almost off the edge of the map. What a perfectly timed dive there from Sugar Free. Yeah, that no footsteps on Echo, just that low hum can be sometimes quite hard to hear.
Yeah, and Students uses just about everything in that fight, where I think you probably come out to cart and have another one, right? I mean, potentially Scissors is going to get here to touch, as it looks like everybody from Students of the game kind of gathering together.
PG in trouble though, just gets, it just detonated.
He gets one.
It does, but the point should be there as you're thinking, especially with the recall coming through from Sid. I take it back. No recall from Scissors. Nice nays, that will be it. No way you survive now. Not even on the Mauga. The sustain, quite bad against the Ana. Mauga in general, pretty bad against Ana, to be fair, if there's no claims.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll see Infected stay Mauga. No, that'll be a swap right back. So under 2 minutes, Nano for the Echo potentially here. Yeah, as Sugar-Free lurking. I mean, to be this sneaky and then get the Nano from behind, I mean, that would be, I mean, it was brutal without it. I mean, with it's going to be even more.
I think you just nano someone, to be honest, because then you get Primal Rage super quick, and then you dupe onto somebody else. Look, Sugar-Free's doing it once more, looking at Cal, trying to take them out. Sneaky beaky like. Someone's first gonna have to contend with Infected in the front lines, but all good apparently. Post one from Scissors also goes wide. So now there's a perfect time to strike. You can see Sugar-Free going a little bit early here as Cal has already naded themselves. Duplication onto the cast. It gets double hit. PGE, okay, now you're cheating, Sugar-Free. You got the bubble. PG taking down the Echo copy with ease there, but to the rescue was Merit and someone. They're closing in on this victory here, Matt. 1 minute to go.
Double support ult here for Students of the Game. If you can actually kind of get out of the spawn and contest here, someone actually gets slept and has the Primal Rage going. They'll get infected on the point. That's going to be Rally.
Rally, are they going to be able to make it in time? There's no tank left. Infective down. No recall for Scissors. The nano boost onto Rack Attack. That's a scary brig. But not as scary as Toronto Defiant. A 2-0 lead in the series. As we start off with, what was quite reminiscent of their game in the upper finals last time they faded.
Yeah, but I gotta say, those Students of the Game is playing much better than that series, right? That series was, you know, a complete stomp where Students of the Game has actually put themselves in a position, you know, but yeah, on Oasis, it was like competitive, right? Although Toronto wins 2-0. And then here on Paraiso, right? They almost get a map completion. It kind of comes down to the wire. So I think it's positive things for Students of the Game this far.
Yeah, real big positives. I mean, look, getting it down to a minute against Toronto, not bad at all. And that second point hold looked pretty immaculate to start off with. I mean, it was just Sugar-Free at the very end, just making the hero play. Well, not even a hero play. I mean, he just went on the flank. Cal didn't see him or hear him, and then boom, insta kill. But yeah, this looks really good. The backline of Cal and Rack Attack. I mean, we talk about how they play silly things, but look, at the end of the day, if you're hitting sleeps, well, that's RuPaul, but if you're hitting sleeps on someone like someone, just take him out of the fight for the majority of the time. It's you can stand up to any team. Like, only diving without the Winston as a tracer or an Echo could be so deadly against someone like PGE, who's Cassidy. Their aim is just sublime.
Yeah, I think it just kind of speaks to, you know, Students of the Game, right, moving forward, right? I think Toronto obviously comes into this the favorite, right? I know probably the favorite of the entire tournament thus far. But new Students of the Game, right? You qualify for Dallas, you have some more time to practice. They've at least shown in this series that they can hang, right? They were kind of questioning the other day, and, you know, even after previous results, right, you would definitely question it. But I think today they've like put together a series where, like, hey, you know, a few things here or there go right, you know, in our direction. Like, you know, there's a chance to take some maps here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This definitely felt like one of them. So look at the stats from that last map. Despite how close it was, Toronto Defiant leading in all factors.
I mean, the stats typically, like how we always see it in Overwatch, like, you know, your team wins and you're going to have just, you know, much larger numbers, especially, you know, the eliminations, right? You know, kill participation, really, just kind of like racking it up as it'll be Esperanca here for the next map. I feel like we've seen no new Queen Street, really. I know throughout the main event, at least, it's been just Coliseo and Esperanca. So new Queen Street gets banned. The other team has basically the option of the two maps they probably would have wanted anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, what's that map? Everybody wants Esperanca or Coliseo if you're a space station. Let's have a look what they want to roll out with on the point.
That's some good looking bread in there.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Again, I'm like Jake, I play on low details, so or low settings apart from model details. So
why do you need to play on low settings?
Because you just get
you're
more
not
FPS.
Jake. Yeah, but you're not. You know, what are you? Yeah, but what are you doing, really? I mean, come on.
Have you
enjoy
tried
the game
playing
a little bit.
any? Look, if you are playing on a 240 hertz monitor, you want like 240 frames, bro. You telling me you play on like ray tracing like ultra high and then getting like 60 mat? Like, come on, you're on the high
I'm
set.
not saying do that. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I don't think you need to play on low settings though.
I think you need to play on higher settings, Matt. Your SR is abysmal, bro. Or your rank even.
Well, that's just not true.
I saw you and Scott duo the other day. It was not pretty.
We were getting wide the other day.
Very wide queue, widest queue possible. So it's a wonder how you found a game, I'm going to be honest. All right, Toronto Defiant running out with the...
There's other wides out there like us.
They're not that wide. Winston versus the Orisa. Pretty easy for Infected just to anchor down the point. Merit just trying to find this off angle. It's going to be rather tough, especially with Scissors being on the case too.
I like how Students of the Game though, like they don't really have to be the aggressive team here. Like Toronto Defiant with this Winston, they can't actually kind of like play positionally like right there for much, for very long, right? The Winston's eventually going to have to jump out, and you can kind of just slowly move up and force a bad play potentially.
Oh, well, that's a play you want to see. If you're Toronto Defiant, PG ahead just peeked over the little thing, and Merit, yeah, turned them to cinder. All right, Toronto Defiant, got to press the issue here. Although, with Vega going down, that kind of sucks for them. Can't really speed into the backline anymore, and it does allow Students of the Game just to exit that fight rather rapidly.
Yeah, and I think you'll have, Kitsune rushes for both teams here. In this next fight, we'll see how Students of the Game decides to use this, potentially like we've seen teams use it on the high ground, right? Trying to play for that position. So look at this, Jaws. Merit already, almost at a overclock, where PG at 54%. Just gets taken out early in that previous fight. And the amount of damage that Merit's able to put down is just so impressive.
They got Vega. Wow, I didn't think they got anybody there. There's the spear onto Merit too. Merit's in desperate need of attention, but no, PGE is there with the follow-up. A massive terror surge coming through for an Infected, finding an initial kill. However, they do trade it back for a PGE as Rupal raid the rush like on the center pavilion. And now Sugar Free with the pulse bomb. He's got Carl in his sights. A nice little recall there, but whoa, Sugar Free is right back in the action. And now Cal has to try and Houdini himself out of there, but no, Cal chased over the top of the roof. Couldn't quite get out.
Hey, was that sound barrier also trying to get Cal as they were coming over the roof? It looked like potentially rack attack on the opposite side. That was a sound barrier connected with him and Infected. Maybe they were trying to get Cal over the roof, give him the benefits of the sound barrier. That does not work out though for Students of the Game.
Yeah, and the round in this corner as well is going to be super rough. We'll see if Scissors come up with something big with this pulse bomb. He's been going toe-to-toe with Merit on Tracer. So it's Sugar Free now. Both Tracers have the pulse. Forcing the recall is kind of bad for Scissors, but he's got Merit in his sights. Merit's still got the slide, though, and it's actually Infected that falls first. Scissors not being able to find an entrance into this fight, probably doesn't even want a pulse bomb, to be honest. I mean, maybe get something big here, but, I mean, the kill onto someone was all that they managed to muster, and that's checkpoint for Toronto Defiant.
Yes, that's a pretty brutal scenario, right? Giving up that checkpoint first. It's a huge advantage as we move forward here on Esperanca. As RuPaul just trying to build up. Looks like Merit just taking a little bit of damage, just trying to build up here towards that Kitsune rush. So this next fight feels like it is essential for Students of the Game to win, to not fall just really far behind.
Yeah, that checkpoint and then some is always quite important. Hello, Sugar Free. Just bumped into PG.
Blinked
yeah,
into
gave him a little hug. All right, Merit and Sugar Free on the case. Trying to find a little flank. That bot's been stolen away for the time being, but as it rounds that corner, Students of the Game unable to touch. They are trying to take control of this high ground. Scissors falls to Merit. And now Sugar Free looking at the backline, looking for his next piece of prey. Oh, it's actually PG that comes up big with 2 kills. That slide kill to Vega was clean. Okay, pulse bomb comes on. 2 Infected, however, Suzu exists. So that won't be a kill onto the Orisa. And with someone dying in Primal Rage, Students of the Game. Not a complete clean team kill, but they got 3 on the bot. I mean, they're chilling right now. Especially with Tracer back, they can take control of the fight.
Yeah, they'll take control of high ground. They'll have sound barrier for the next fight. I gotta say, so Toronto just looks like such a much better team when they have Merit on, you know, whether it's like the Cassidy or the Sojourn, right? When they were kind of playing that Tracer Echo, it just seems like, you know, he's so good on those hit scans. It's like really difficult probably to take him off with how strong he is, especially in every type of matchup, right? PG, incredible player. You see some of the plays that coming up with, but I mean, Merit's just sick.
Yeah, PG's aim is very, very good, very clean. But Merit is just kind of a jack of all trades. Just plays a lot, plays everything at some of the highest levels of all time. And Sojourn, what it really kind of popped off when Sojourn was kind of first released in Overwatch 2, that triple collat in one of the first games, or some of the early games of Sojourn play. We'll never see something like that again. Or at least it's quite unlikely.
I think you're just building up for rush here if you're students of the game, right? You already have sound barrier advantage. You're probably just building up for rush. So they do get it now.
It's been really tough for students of the game to kind of move past this choke point. Like you said, they do have rush and this sound barrier, but Infected's just taking Infected's just taking so much damage. Looks like Cal wasn't really expecting that burst. They end up saving their Suzu. Don't even use it on the Orisa, sadly. Didn't have enough time to react to that one, and Toronto Defiant just went out in the neutral.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate there for students of the game because they have an advantage, right? You got double support all, there's nothing on the other side. You're one fight away, you win that fight, you're going to get checkpoint, right? It kind of like puts you, you know, in the game, so to speak. So it feels like you kind of have to capitalize on those advantages, right? No, maybe make a proactive play. It just kind of feels like you're jockeying for position for so long that I mean, they've allowed Toronto to just build up all their ultimates as well.
They're not overextending. Just forcing the issue. That's exactly what they're trying to do right now. Oh, Merit so low. Even gets the blink smack there, but Merit still somehow stays alive. They trade an overclock for a rush. Kind of a bad trade there if you're students of the game. And there you go. RuPaul just rips their own. Sound barrier comes in. Students of the game hits 4, but Sugar Free just hounding down Rack Attack. My word, the movement on Sugar Free, just looking for the targets that they need to kill. The call is just, we got to get, if you're going to kill Rack Attack, you got to get him while he's wall riding. Like, it's so easy to kind of track the Lucio, and his target prioritization is just exceptional. 70 meters for Toronto now. Students of the game do get a reset here, but this game is slowly, and the series too, slowly slipping out of their hands.
Yeah, I know the later sound barrier there is just huge. As someone dives on in here, has Primal Rage to use. Infected gets really low to losing all of his armor.
Infected used all of his cooldowns. Completely. That was gold and Spear Spit. Spear Toss wasn't too far away as well. PGE with a fully charged railgun is trying to find a target. They're trying to kill Merit, but they're just unable to do so. The peel's too good. Merit's still surviving somehow. Has been ejected from this high ground positioning, at least eventually falls. But the amount of stuff they invested there just to kill the Sojourn was just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I mean, they still find themselves, you know, over 60 meters behind, right? They use absolutely everything to even get close to Merit. Disruptor shot thrown in here, puts down some extra damage. Someone quite low is, yeah, just kind of overstays his welcome there. So nice opportunity there for students of the game to capitalize.
Yeah, we'll see how far they can push this bot, though. It's only someone that went down. Like, Monkey gets back so fast. You can see in the very far distance there, Vega was just taxing. So they're not going to get checkpoint here at all. Like, someone's here. I mean, Merit's got the overclock as well. Might want to just perch up in one of those windows or maybe go for a small flank. There's someone on the point. Sugar Free as well. No further bot progress can be made.
I mean, this is the same spot they got stuck in last time. It's, Now you're kind of stuck in this position. It's almost worse, right? You're a minute on the clock where it feels like you're going to have to invest something here in students of the game, try and make this work. It's going to be an overclock from Merit on the side. No sound barrier yet.
Merit trying to repeat some history there with that 3 players lining up.
They got close.
They did indeed. Checkpoint taken, though, by students of the game. Good shot, Scissors. However, with 40 seconds to go, still a 40-meter or 39-meter deficit, 39.01 to be precise.
I mean, that is quite brutal, right? Merit comes around the corner. Rack Attack is like 96% is sound barrier. You don't have it to kind of like protect everybody, keep everybody alive, and then no, just kind of makes matters worse. Someone just jumps in right on top of your support line, right? Just almost impossible to survive in those conditions. That's going to be sound barrier as someone jumps in.
Yeah, jumped in with RuPaul. RuPaul just swift step towards him. They do have traded though. I mean, you traded for Cal. This home clock needs to be massive for BG, but instantly shut down by someone's primal rage. They got too much health now. I mean, this is over. Toronto Defiant, exactly how they dispatch with students of the game in that upper bracket. Not yesterday. And they do end up seeing themselves in the finals. A much closer affair, though, from students of the game, for sure. But Toronto Defiant still standing head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah, I mean, look, some positives, I think, for both teams with this series, right? Toronto bounces back in a big way after a loss. I think students of the game looks like they can even take their game to another level, right? I know had some pretty good moments here against Toronto, not as much of a blowout as we saw in the last time they played. So some positives to take from both teams moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. And now Toronto Defiant get their chance for a little bit of revenge too. We had 2 revenge stories, 2 here in NA, and obviously EU a little bit earlier on. We had a map 7 before. We'll see if we can go all the way once again. We'll jump over to the desk though. They'll wrap up that game and send us into the grand finals.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Yeah, a decisive victory from Toronto Defiant. They were the favorite coming into this match, and I think they were very eager to get some revenge on M80 up there in the grand finals. Let's talk about how they got it done. Anything you saw that even remotely surprised you here?
I mean, to be honest, I thought this match would be more of a formality, but students of the game, really, they had their chances to get wins here, to get fight wins and map wins. I do think there was just there's a little bit of choking going on for me. Like this map on Oasis, there's like last fight is so winnable, but then they get one pick, but then force an aggro beat and have no real responses when the ults come in. And so Toronto, I think their experience in clutch situations, they continue to play well even when the chips are down. That's really the difference between these two teams, because to be honest, when there's more of like a straight up, front to back fight, everyone sees what's coming, there's no trickery involved, students of the game are handling themselves incredibly well. But of course, a team as good as Toronto Defiant, they're not going to give you straight up fights. They're going to always find some way to have an edge. And that's just the level of play you've got to be ready for when it comes to Dallas. So for students of the game, maybe this is the expected result. I still think they had good moments. They had their opportunities to make plays. If they can iron out some of these macro decisions and find their way to get some more advantages, exploit all the little details of the game, the individual skill is there.
Yeah, the individual skill is there. The way I describe it is that this is the kind of tier break between students of the game and Toronto Defiant, where it actually, the deciding factor kind of comes down to the micro. We spent all week in all the group stages, and a lot of the time we talk about ultimate usage. If you don't use Kitsune Rush the right way, if you don't use Sound Barrier the right way, you are going to get punished. The other team is going to take advantage of that fact. When you get to this level, where most of the macro is on point, you're playing the right compositions, you got the right ultimate usage, in a matchup against Toronto Defiant, players like RuPaul, and you saw the sleep darts, you saw the bionades, he is going to punish your positioning. He is going to punish your Winston bubble usage. We saw a few times this series where Merit on the hit scan punished PGE for maybe picking his head out when he shouldn't have. And those small details is the difference between a team like the Toronto Defiant and a team like Students of the Game. So now Students of the Game going into Dallas, they've qualified. They got a great building block because they're on the right path. They figured out their macro. But now to take the next step, they need to figure out their micro, their positioning, and the small little details to compete with teams like Toronto Defiant.
That's right. Now, I'm excited, of course, to see Toronto Defiant in the grand finals here in the NA region. And Danny, we got a post-game interview with...
He's walking.
Someone, everybody, turn the camera. Yes, and someone, thank you so much for agreeing to this interview. I'm going to make it quick because you guys have the grand final match against M80, so let's make this very, very quick. I mean, you guys already qualified for Dallas. Now you guys are fighting for the money with M80. But before that, I want to ask you about Dallas. There's a lot of great teams that are coming to Dallas. I know I heard a lot of great things that Korea is going to be a very strong region. So is there a specific team that you, as part of Toronto Defiant, that really really want to beat in Dallas. 자, 일단 오늘 굉장히 중요한 경기가 바로 있기 때문에 빨리 하고 인터뷰를 하고 보내드리도록 하겠습니다. 일단 달라스에 대해서 벌써 이제 합격을 이제 달라스로 이제 가시게 되셨는데 달라스에 가서 지금 굉장한 팀들이 많이 이제 나올 거란 예상을 하고 있는데 좀 서먼 선수는 달라스에서 이 팀과는 한번 진짜 겨뤄봐서 우리가 꼭 이기고 싶다 하는 팀이 있는지.
저는 개인적으로 크레이지 라쿤이 이기고 싶고 그 이유는 1등을 하려면 1등을 이겨야 될 것 같아요.
Personally, I want to go and beat Crazy Raccoon because in order for you to be the best team, you do have to face off against the best team in the OWCS. Great answer. I mean, but even before that, though, there's one more obstacle before going to Dallas. You do have to face M80. You guys unfortunately did lose to them yesterday. What can Toronto Defiant do differently today in order for you to beat M80 this time around? 자, 달라스를 가기 전에 이제 한 경기만 남았습니다. 서먼 선수 이제 M80와의 경기 이제 어제는 아쉽게도 패배를 했지만 어떻게 하면 오늘은 결과를 좀 다른 결과를 낳을 수 있을까요?
일단 어제는 저희가 솔직히 말해서 플레이적으로 좀 자만하고 이제 상대팀을 뭔가 좀 무시하면서 게임했던 경향이 있었는데 오늘은 경각심 갖고 좀 더 꼼꼼히 좀 대충 아니고 이제 하나하나씩 다 생각하면서 하면은 쉽게 이길 것 같습니다.
Yeah, I do honestly feel like our reason for losing to M80 yesterday was we're too overconfident. I think we were just breezing by everything. So this time around, we're really going to focus. We're going to go into every detail that we could fix and really look closely into the match. And I think if we do that, we will get the win. All right, someone, that is it for the interview. Good luck in the grand finals. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much.